recording.
All right. Good evening, everyone. Thank you for returning. We are going to be playing our fourth and last. This is definitely going to be the last session of Amidst the Ancient Pines. It's a Call of Cthulhu module for 7th edition. We are doing this for Blades and Blasters. And we have our group here, our normal group here with us tonight. And the last we left them, they had actually done quite a bit of traversing over the forest floor and had made their way to what appears to be the kidnapper's hideout. They walked up and instantly smelled death in the air. And upon searching, they found a body pinned to a tree. And then they found someone else inside who was screaming about what could only be the young, strong girl, the kidnapped girl. Someone inside screaming, "Give her back!" So return her. Someone who had gone obviously mad. And after that encounter, the group decided to backtrack, where they found another path leading to a darker, quieter cabin in the thicker part of the woods, where they have been slowly investigating, searching for clues after not finding anything at the kidnapper's hideout. Nothing that they could go back home with anyhow. So they are in the dark cabin in the middle of the woods when they decided to look through the floorboards, and they saw an odd blue light and what looks to be like stone type coffins or something downstairs in the basement. So the four of you find yourself, I believe you were all in the cabin, if I remember correctly. Correct me if I'm wrong. You were all in the cabin. You did find some interesting items. I think there was something hanging on the wall.
Yeah, so there was the
military suit.
yes,
That's right. There was an old
Civil War,
what looked like uniform, Civil War uniform on the wall, and some other items kind of
and
lying
then
around.
we matched the knife to the knife that was found
That's
near
right.
the first dead body we came across.
That's right. Yep. And there was another knife in there matching the one you had found earlier.
Okay. And then that's around that time is when we saw the blue light from the floorboards, and we found a way down, and that's when we came across. I mean, we didn't come across. We're just right now entering that room and entering the basement and seeing those coffins and the blue light, and if I'm not mistaken, something like smoke or like a fog emanating from the coffins.
Okay, so I will let you guys open up right there.
Who's in the front?
The deputy said he was going to go down first. Now, I seem to remember we had lanterns or something, correct?
You have.
Or do we not? Or is it light enough we don't need those?
It's the forest is thick here, so the sunlight is hard to get through. There's no light inside the house, and there's even less light going downstairs. So it's pretty dark down there.
Okay. So, I'm gonna go ahead and see if I can't get my lantern going as I'm working my way down.
Okay, so you take a couple of minutes to kind of strike the device, and it immediately sparks up and hits the wick, and then all of a sudden there's this bright illumination inside the cabin as the lantern turns on. You don't have any issues with it or problems. It immediately just fills the whole cabin with light.
Okay, and then was it a ladder? Was it steps? I don't remember. I thought you said there was like a trap door.
Yeah, there's what looks to be like a cellar or basement door and there are some old steps leading down.
Rickety looking.
This whole cabin looks old. The steps look old. Everything about this place looks old.
Okay. As I'm making my way down, the deputy rather, he's just gonna turn to everyone and just say, "Be careful. The stairs they seem fairly weak." And just kind of continues his way down. Trying to illuminate the basement as best as possible, while also trying to keep some light back on the steps so anyone else following him down can see.
Okay, so you basically start heading down with your lantern ahead of you, holding it out in front of you, and you kind of flood the cellar basement area with light. It's kind of the stink down there from cold, wet earth. There's semi-finished walls. Some of it, one side facing the north is just a dirt wall with some roots coming through. But you look down, and there are multiple what look to be blue, stone. The only way you can describe them is as coffins.
Okay. I'm gonna go ahead and take this time to, I guess, spot hidden, just to see if there's anything that I might just turn up in the immediate area.
Sure, go ahead.
Ooh.
So you look around the room immediately, and with the aid of the light, again, and it just looks dank and wet and moldy down there. But you see trinkets lying around. They look like old things. There's a mirror. There's a desk. There's pieces of paper. There's just a bunch of odds and ends of different types of just baubles, just kind of lying all over the place. You see that you do take note, though, that all of the coffins are closed.
And the deputy is going to go ahead and turn to Henry and Mr. Stevens. Would you mind watching the stairs, please?
Do you want me to be down here or stay upstairs?
If you can hover in between, that would be terrific. But
Right.
I would say keep a better eye on the upstairs and I guess I'd say upstairs and I maybe watch a window or two.
Okay. So Henry will make sure to go back up the stairs and kind of mostly stay out of sight if anyone tries to look in the windows, but try to keep an eye on what's going on outside.
And then the deputy will turn to Samuel and Aldous. Mr. Penry, Mr. Montgomery.
Yes, deputy.
I seem to have come across a few things I'm not entirely familiar with, but knowing that Mr. Montgomery, you seem to have some more generalized knowledge of odds and ends. What do you? And the deputy kind of waves his hand and shows the trinkets and baubles and all of that. What do you make of this?
Well, these indeed seem ancient.
So when you're looking at the different things that you found lying around, one of them is a locket with a picture of a woman inside. It's a black and white picture, and she's wearing a white dress with lace around her neck. There's some rings, some jewelry. All of it looks old.
He has a skill too that would allow him to know more about that, doesn't he? I thought he used it once. Oh no, that was flu. I think, wasn't it? All right, never mind.
Well, I have something like appraise.
Yeah, appraise.
So I can do appraise.
So looking at it and just looking at the patina on the metal, looking at the state of the paper that the photo is on, the pose and the style of dress. This all seems to also fit in with the uniform that you saw hanging upstairs. To all be kind of Civil War era items.
Okay. It's thinking, and I'll turn to the deputy and deputy. It looks like these items belong to the people who live here. It matches the uniform, at least. Are there any like symbols on the like are they did you say they were stone coffins or just standard wood coffins?
Stone.
Are there any engravings, family crests, etc. on the stone coffins?
There are no markings. There are no engravings. There's nothing to distinguish them one from the other. They're all pretty much exactly the same. There are 5 of them to be exact.
5 of them. And the stones themselves, they're like standard stones, right? Like nothing special about the stone itself. Like, is there like the stonework looks intricate, or it's just
No. It doesn't look intricate at all. It almost has the gnarled kind of gravelly look of soapstone or something like
Okay.
that. It's somewhat porous. It's not smooth stone. It's not carved
So
intricately or anything like that. It looks like it's roughly made stone coffins, not using any kind of modern tools or polishing techniques.
okay?
So these are more rudimentary and just nondescript, really. I mean,
Yeah. Yes, exactly.
Okay.
It says deputy. I mean, the year is 1920, correct?
Ish,
And
Yeah.
just correct me if can you just remind me around what time the Civil War actually happened? Like what, 18 something?
Yeah, let's find the exact date.
The Civil War,
Yeah.
1861 is when it started. I remember that.
Okay, so less than 60 years ago, correct?
Yeah, about
Yeah,
60
about
years.
60 years.
So yeah, the Civil War ended in 1865.
Okay, so deputy, this
4 years.
this seems strange. I mean, we are standing
How do you-
in the basement of a house, and if we were to think about it, say somebody 50, 60 years ago lived here, they wouldn't bury their
Yeah.
dead in the house. I mean, we would
Right.
have maybe a plot marked somewhere around the house, but not in the house.
Right. And not to mention, I don't think they would have a basement.
Indeed. It's
So that almost makes me wonder if maybe this was something else before, and they built the house on top of it.
is that blue light still emanating from the coffins?
You can see around the seams of the coffins, where the tops meet the actual coffin bodies.
Uh-huh.
just around the seams, like the faintest glow of a blue light, just kind of creeping and oozing along, almost like the fog coming down off of a hill or a mountain, just kind of falling out of the coffins through the seams.
I don't know, Deputy Collins,
I'm in a.
but
Who all is down here?
I believe it's Aldous, Deputy, and Samuel.
Go ahead and everyone down here make a spot hidden check.
Oof. Is mine broken? I'm only getting 6s?
Ignore that.
ooh,
Okay. So you all kind of, as you're looking at each other and looking at these coffins, somewhat scratching your heads, discussing what this place possibly could be, when at the same time you all notice the desk that I mentioned earlier, that there is one of the drawers open and there's a book lying inside.
Did you say one of the drawers opened or it's open?
No, one of the drawers. It's like you all notice at the same time that there is an open drawer with a book sitting in it.
I just turned to Aldous and to Samuel and just kind of gesture my, and noticing that they've also noticed it.
Deputy, may I suggest that you keep an eye on those coffins while I look at this book and and Mr. Penry, can you keep an eye on me? Okay. And Samuel kind of very gingerly puts his hand into the drawer to pick the book out.
So you put your hand into the drawer and you lift out this very old leather-bound book, pages that are crumbling, smudged pencil marks, and this it smells of the earth down here.
I slowly open the book, and is there a bookmark or a to the last? Does it look like a diary when I open the cover of the book and look at the first page, and if there's some sort of a bookmark?
Yep, you open it up and immediately it opens up to a page. And you can read this out loud to the group if you'd like.
Samuel kind of clears his throat. Okay, let's see what we have here. At last our journey is over. We fled the army to escape with our lives and make a new start in Canada? But instead we have found that which we desire on the shores of the Black Lake north of Somerset. It called us here with the promise of life everlasting. It called us here in our dreams. It exists here and yet not here at the same time. At this point, Samuel kind of heaves in his mouth a bit. Okay.
Easy there, Mr. Montgomery. Are you okay?
Yeah, I think I am. But this sounds...
It sounds like a bunch of nonsense. Why don't you flip to the end, maybe?
Well, it sounds very familiar, don't you think, Mr. Penry? Dreams. Anyway.
Mm-hmm. In a lake.
In a lake, yes. At least, and they call it a black
lake. Do you know
lake.
who wrote it? Is there an author or a name?
Well, let me continue reading. Let's see if I can get more. It remains trapped in a crystal prison. from which it longs to be freed. It came here so many centuries ago upon a comet that broke apart and was scattered around the world. Oh boy, oh boy. One such piece landed here with part of the crystal that keeps it bound. If we aid it in finding the crystal and deliver it to the lake, our benefactor can destroy it, weakening the strength of the prison that binds it. This has stopped making sense, and okay, one day it shall ascend to the stars and we shall bask in its eternal gratitude and power. It is the one true God, the one true master over life and death. We go to join with it in the black waters of the lake. We go now to be made immortal by our new God. Glakai. Glakai. Glaki. Glaki. Glakai. I can't pronounce this.
Sounds like you're having a stroke.
I believe I have reading this. May your will be done.
And as you turn the page, you just see one last image.
And kind of like I end up dropping the book down. Deputy, Mr. Pinhery, you better take a look at this.
Yeah, the deputy will make his way over to the book and slowly pick it up. Is it still on the same page, or is it just a random page now?
Oh, you could. It fell down, face down, with open on the page that he left it on.
Okay, so pick it up slowly, looking at that. And what is this? Is this some kind of slug mass?
Let me get a look at that.
Hands the book to Aldous.
What about those things up there? Doesn't that look familiar? I'm pointing at the three bodies that seem to be impaled.
Do they look familiar, or do they look similar?
There was that man outside the cabin. He'd been strung up, impaled.
Let me see. Why? What does this all mean? I can't put all of this together.
Maybe we're not meant to put this together, Deputy. It talks about unchristian stuff. This sounds like deranged people losing their minds.
The three of you that were down there looking at the book, and especially Samuel reading the book, I want you all to take a sanity check. But Samuel, since you were holding and reading the book out loud, I want you to take a sanity check, and we're going to subtract 5 from your roll.
Okay. Ooh!
Oof.
Oh boy.
So, Samuel, please roll 1d4 sanity loss.
So it goes.
You don't know if it's the lights flickering, if it's the book that you have no comprehension of what it's talking about, if it's just being in this basement around coffins, but you are very unnerved and you're extremely uneasy down here.
Deputy, I think I have seen enough, read enough. I may even think I have come to know enough. Would you mind if I stand on the stairs and give uh, Henry some company? You know, I have my gun. I think I can be of much use.
I think that would be I think that would be fine, Mr. Montgomery. You and Mr. Stevens can keep watch, and Aldous and I go ahead and try to turn up anything else that we can down here.
Thank you. Much appreciated.
Calm down, breathe. Well, breathe more heavily when you get upstairs.
Yes.
Just one moment. Why don't you take this with you? Maybe you can find up something. You have more time to read, or maybe Henry can give it a shot.
No, I don't think I want to touch that. If you wouldn't mind, Mr. Pinry, I would say just leave it there.
Look, this is all we've got so far, so if you're not going to read it, at least hand it to Henry.
I am not going to touch that book. Henry, Mr. Pinry has something he would like to give you, and with that, Samuel quickly goes up the stairs.
As Henry's coming down, I guess Samuel will run up past him, kind of shrugs a little and makes his way down the stairs. What do you want to give me?
I didn't want you to come down here yourself. The kid's all panicky. But, here, why don't you take a look at this? I hand him the book.
Henry takes the book and opens it, kind of reading the passage. Where'd you find this? What was it here?
In this desk here.
This is,
Henry, as you're reading the passage and it's sounding, creepily familiar to you, and especially as you turn the page and you see the drawing, flashbacks of your dream start coming back to you. I would like you to make a sanity check as well.
Oh, I rolled the wrong one. There we go.
Okay. So you're reading it and you get a shiver running up and down your spine, and you shake your head and tell yourself that was just a dream. That was just a dream.
This picture's a little familiar. Maybe I'm just seeing things. And you'll close the book. This
Close the book, just kind of dust comes flying out of it, kind of poof, dust flying in the air around it.
He'll kind of fan his hand, so kind of disperses the dust a bit. I'm not a fan of this book.
I think maybe we put it back. I don't see what it really. It doesn't serve us any real purpose.
Well, what if we take it back? Maybe dust it for fingerprints? I don't know.
I think all of ours are not at this point.
Well, time out here. I don't know if they dusted for fingerprints back then, but I'm not trying to be a stickler. I just don't know. I don't know what kind of forensics they had.
I'm not sure either, but you didn't bring a forensic kit out. You were just a posse looking for a
right.
kidnapped girl, so you don't have a forensic kit on you.
I know,
Right.
bring it back.
He suggested bringing it back and dusting it.
Oh. I mean, that's completely up to you guys. I mean, if it seems something out of place and like it's evidence, then it would make sense to take it back.
Well, I guess we can take this back, and I'll put it in my pack then.
We can maybe donate it to a museum or something. Get someone to analyze it. Maybe it means something.
I think we could probably donate this entire domicile to a museum. And everything in it. Well, I guess since you're down here, Mr. Stevens, what do you make of these? As he gestures to the coffins.
Henry will take kind of a closer look at them. Interesting. Does he see the fog?
Yeah, I mean that's something that hasn't stopped, and you guys aren't sure what to make of it. I mean, it's obviously very odd, unnerving even, that these sarcophagi or these coffins, these stone containers, you're not sure what they are. It's almost like they're leaking blue light out of its cracks, out of their cracks.
Maybe these coffins aren't really coffins. Maybe it's some sort of not maybe a trapdoor or something to something lower because there's light coming out of it.
I guess that's a possibility. I don't know. None of this makes any sense.
No.
What I'm doing here. Why is it so deep into the forest? Why does this have this basement with all this paraphernalia from the Civil War?
I don't mean to disrespect the dead, but should we at least check to see?
Deputy kind of looks to Mr. Pinnery. What do you think?
We'll walk over one of the coffins, the closest one, and give it a quick knock.
Did it knock back?
And there's a pounding on the coffin as you knock on it, but nothing responds in return. It's just silence. The whole basement is silent, with the exception of you're talking, and occasionally when you're not talking, you can hear each other breathing as you take in the smell of wet earth. There's no sounds.
Sorry, is it nailed shut?
They are. You look around and you see that they are not nailed shut. They are stone, and there are no bolts. There are no nails.
Oh. I don't necessarily want to open these, but it's possible that one of these could contain the young Miss Strong.
It's possible. And considering there's light coming out of them, I don't think they're normal coffins.
I don't think so either. And I don't know why she would be in a coffin with a light.
I'm not sure. Should we push one open? And Henry will kind of place his hands on the edge of a lid, kind of ready for it. Okay.
Yeah, go for it.
Maybe just move the edge.
Maybe point your guns at it just in case.
Alright, I'll train my gun on it.
Alright, and Henry will slowly push open the coffin.
So you go to push the coffin open, and you put your strength behind it, kind of putting a shoulder into it a little bit. And there's the scraping and scratching of stone on stone as you push and push. And then there's a stench of, dry air that comes up and hits you in the face as you push it open just enough to where your face is over the opening. And you see what looks like a silver spike or some kind of giant thorn, or you're not sure what to make of it. It almost looks metallic, but it's a large hollow spine in the coffin.
And it's the thing that's emitting the light?
As soon as you open up the coffin, the light all dissipates and just kind of, like a fog, just disappears, and there is no light.
Only from that coffin?
Only from that coffin, yes.
I don't know what to make of this.
I don't like it.
I don't either.
I say we push it back.
And Henry will start closing them again. I don't want to touch it.
What are you rolling?
Secrets. Maybe we should go. This doesn't seem like a
Deputy.
good end.
Deputy. I think there's someone out there in the woods. I can hear rustling of the leaves.
Not again.
Aldous, would you mind taking a peek? And take this with you, please. And the deputy hands that other rifle over to Aldous. Now you have 2 good weapons.
Yeah. I've got 2 rifles. I think I'm good with 1.
Wow. You want him going up there?
So you got
Okay.
I'll go check out what the kid is fretting over. It's probably nothing.
Alright, well, first sign of anything, you let us know.
Yeah, if there's anything out there, you'll hear a gunshot, so that will be the code.
Okay. Just
Should be
make sure you're targeted.
So Aldous slowly makes his way up the steps. They're creaking under the weight of his body. He just kind of creak as he takes one step after the other, slowly leaving you guys back down in the basement by yourselves. So, Henry and the deputy, as you're down there, as soon as Aldous gets upstairs, I want you both to make a listen check.
Sure, there's this.
Oh, damn it. I should have put something into listen.
Ooh.
That's a good number right there.
So, the deputy, you thought you heard something coming from outside of the cabin. You're not sure what it was. Maybe it's what Samuel was talking about. What you just sent Aldous out to check, but you think that you might have also heard something out there. Samuel, it's still just silent down here with the exception of your breathing, the talking between you and the deputy.
Oh, you mean Henry?
Yeah,
Henry. Sorry, Henry.
The deputy turns to Henry. Shh, shh.
What?
Shh. I think I heard something outside. Shh, shh, shh. Stop breathing. Shh. I don't know. I swear I heard something. It's okay to breathe again. You didn't hear that?
No. Well, there's 2 people checking it, so.
Yeah, one of them's a bit jittery.
Are you okay? I don't think there is anything.
Thump. And you turn, as you both are aware that you heard a noise coming from behind you now. From the coffins? You're not... What was You heard a thump. You definitely heard a thump.
That wasn't your heart, was it?
What was yours?
It wasn't mine.
Uh,
I think we need to get out of here. Like
Uh,
now. Like
oh,
now.
Okay, get up the stairs. I'll cover you.
And it
Go,
may
go.
it may seem irrational, but the deputy's going to take his lantern and throw it at that desk, hoping to shatter it.
Sure. Go ahead and, what would that be? There's not an athletics check or something like that?
I can try and charm it.
Throw?
I think there is a throw.
Just throw.
Oh, is there just
throw?
is there just a
there
throw?
is throw.
Plain throw?
Yep,
Okay,
there's
make a throw check. Yep.
Oh.
So you
Arts.
you throw it and it hits the desk and kind of clank, but doesn't break or shatter. It just kind of sits there on its side. Did you have a feeling that it won't be long before... Did you just fire a shot at it?
And I'm firing a shot too, I guess.
So you fire a shot at it, and due to your stress, your panicking, your paranoia, whatever it is, shoots wide. You hit the earthen wall, just pop, and it just nothing. So your lantern is over on the desk now, and your gun is fired off into the dark, and you start running up the steps.
The hell?
Steps are just, pushing under your weight and creaking as you run up, and the cellar goes dark.
Henry will try to make his way up into the darkness.
Henry, unfortunately, you left down there in the dark.
Oh,
You dick.
my fault.
So Henry, go ahead and make to get out of there. Go ahead and make. Let me look at this. Yeah, I'm not sure what you would do for that.
I'm not sure either. Dexterity check?
Yep, go ahead and do a dexterity check to see if you get out of there without any issues. So you turn to run as the room goes dark because the lantern fell on its side. The light went out, and then you saw the muzzle flash, a bright flash as a gunshot was fired. And you turn to run as well, and you immediately trip over the first step. You trip and you fall down, and then you hear a loud thud and a clank, and you're not sure what that is, but something heavy just hit the floor of the basement.
Oh no. Henry will crawl on all fours and try to get up these stairs.
So the deputy's upstairs now. He's panting and a little bit frantic-y. He turns to look back and he hears boom, and then he hears that other thud, and he turns and just trains his gun down the stairs. Henry, Mr. Stevens.
Deputy!
Oh
God!
So
I'm
he's
So with the little bit of light cracking through the top of the cellar door at the top, and the voice, you know what direction you need to go in, considering you tripped over the steps anyhow. You were right next to them. You start making your way up the steps without any further issue. You start getting to the top, and you have the feeling that something was right behind you, just shivers running down your spine. It's
Close.
like it's that feeling like you have when you feel like you're being watched and you shiver. Go ahead and make a sanity check.
Yes.
you gather yourself and you bring yourself back around to it. You turn to face them and let them know that there was a loud thud that they heard as well. And as you're all standing there, you hear something on the first step.
Is the deputy still standing next to the door, the trap door?
You are still standing there, but looking
Alright.
looking down, it is dark. It is blackness. You can't see anything.
That's fine. I'm just gonna slam it shut. Anything we can get, put on top. Hurry!
Okay. Henry will go and see if he can like grab a dresser and push it on top of the trapdoor.
Samuel will help Henry to move whatever looks heavy. What happened? What was it?
It doesn't matter. Move it. Move it.
Okay.
And you guys find some heavy wooden furniture and you move it over and you toss it down on top of the trap door. And it just lands there on its side, drawers kind of falling out. And now you're standing there, panting, out of breath. You've got a couple of things sitting on the trap door, and you heard creaking coming up the steps.
Deputy, can we leave now?
We need to go.
Yeah, I think we need to get out of here. Mr. Pennery, anything? Do you see anything in the woods?
Did I?
Mr. Pinnery didn't see anything in the woods that stood out to him. Nothing that he would have commented on anyhow.
We just need to go and leave.
Whatever it was that was down there, it seemingly came out of nowhere.
I think I know where it came from, and I just want to go.
I don't want to think about that. But we do need to get out of here.
Yep. And Henry will just kind of leave the house.
Samuel will quickly follow Henry. As soon as somebody steps out of the house, Samuel will step out of the house as well.
So now you guys are standing out of the house. It's dark in this deep of the wood. The sunlight is barely getting through.
The deputy just gives out a frustrating groan, like, ah! What is it with these woods? It's not light anywhere. And I threw my lantern.
What's gotten into you?
I don't know. I want to find this girl. I don't know what's going on with this place. I want to burn it down. That's what I was trying to do. It didn't work out.
You don't think you're being a little hasty?
I'm the one being hasty, Mr. Pinnery. You're talking about shooting anything that moves in the woods.
Well, I didn't just throw my lantern out and shoot off a shot randomly. So I think I'm a bit more cool-headed than you at the moment, Deputy.
Gentlemen, it doesn't matter who's cool and who's not cool.
Yep.
Can we just get back to that fork in the road? Let's leave this place,
There's
please.
something coming out of the basement, and I don't like it. Let's go.
Everyone go ahead and make a listen check.
Yes!
Okay, as you're sitting there talking about what's going on, what's happening, the deputy and Samuel, you both actually hear a loud bang, bang coming from inside the cabin.
Somebody's trying to get out of that trapdoor. Can we now leave, please?
Yeah, I heard it too, guys. Mr. Pennery, do you think you can lead us back out the way we came in? Or do you think it would be wise to go a different way?
It'd be a lot easier if we just backtracked.
You can
That's what I was thinking.
Okay, that's fine. It's whatever you guys want to do. Like you can make a spot hidden check or a tracking check.
Up to you guys if you want to try to. What is it?
So, Aldous, obviously, there's the way you guys came, but you also, both of you, Deputy and Aldous, you also do see another. All of you, when you run out, it must have eluded you when you first came in, just because of your nerves. But when you come out, frantic, panicked, frustrated, flight or fight, mode, you immediately start looking around, and not only do you spot the path that you came here on, you do see another path leading behind the cabin, going off in a different direction.
Well, Mr. Pennery, there's that path, and there's the path back.
Well, you wanted to get us back, right? That would be this one.
And then from inside the cabin, there's another loud bang!
Okay, let's just take the other path. Let's go behind the cabin and go, because maybe it leads towards this lake, and we should go to the lake. Find out where she is.
Gentlemen, I don't care where we go. Can we just please go now?
Okay, well, I'm going behind the cabin.
Okay.
Do you guys want to come? Come with me. And Henry will just start going.
Yeah, Samuel just waiting for somebody to make a decision. As soon as somebody makes a decision, he just follows them, trying to get away from the cabin as quickly as possible.
Well, Mr. Pennery, I think our choice is made.
Okay. So, you guys, whether it's panic, whether it's fright, not sure what it is, instead of going back the way you came, you see the trail leading behind the cabin, and instinct kicks in that you need to get away from the cabin, so you immediately just take it and start running down that trail.
Well, so it was Samuel and Henry that took off running down the trail.
Yep. Samuel just
Okay.
following Henry wherever Henry's going.
Yep.
But basically away from the house.
Gotta get away.
So I guess the deputy will give chase, trying to get them to stop. Stop running.
Henry will eventually slow down when he feels like he's a safe enough distance away. Kind of huff and puff a little. Oh my god. What the hell was that?
What happened, Henry? All I heard was a loud bang that sounded like a gunshot. And then huge thuds.
The deputy decided to throw his light source into the desk, but it didn't work. And I don't know why, but he shot off a shot. And I think that I might have woke something up, because when I tried to run up the stairs, I think one of the coffins opened because there was a bang, and maybe I was right that it was a trapdoor, but I don't know at this point. I don't know.
So wait, somebody opened the coffin from the inside?
It's the only thing that was down there.
We need to leave.
Mr. Stevens cracked open one of the coffins, and the light went away.
It had a spike in it.
A spike.
Did the spike look like the picture?
I don't know. I didn't look at it that hard. We just closed the door. The coffin door.
Okay, so we are now out in the woods, running away from a cabin, and none of you think that this is wrong or crazy? This is insane. How are we supposed to find this girl?
Try our best. And if we don't find her, then we leave.
Leave? We don't even know where we are at this point.
Well,
All right. Let's everyone just. All right. Even myself, we need to just calm down, collect ourselves.
I don't know.
We have Mr. Pinnery. He, so far as I can tell, he's done nothing to Ray. I say we defer to him.
Okay.
And at this point, I have no idea where to go. Blues.
Mr. Pinnerite,
Alright. If I'm being honest with you, and I look at the three of them, I'm not exactly liking what I'm seeing right now. You're getting jumpy and panicky. Whatever it was that Samuel caught seems to be spreading to you lot. If we're gonna find the girl, we need to stay calm, okay? If you all want to turn tail and run, I suppose we should do that now rather than later. So I'm gonna put this to one final vote. Do you want to get out of here now, and I can get you there? We can all go home, and the girl will probably be dead. Or do you want to go and find her?
Well, I've come this far, Mr. Pinnery. And I'm sorry I lost my nerve back there. Everyone. I was not in my right state of mind. I don't know. I just kind of lost it momentarily. But I think I'm fine.
I don't want to hear think. I need facts. Are you fine?
Mr. Pinnery, I'm quite well and ready to continue.
Okay. Henry?
well, at this point, we have come a very long way, and there has been some highly unsettling things that have been going on, considering, but there's a small part of me, that wants to know what this is exactly, and also to find the girl. So I'm gonna suck it up and go on with it.
Well, then it's settled.
That's admirable, Mr. Stevens.
Thanks.
I'm gonna give one glancing look at Samuel. You
Samuel,
wanna get a read on his face, you know?
he is now quivering, and he's just standing there with his gun held tightly, and he's looking at the three of you. When we meet each other in hell, let me know then how brave you are for what you're now attempting. I don't have a way out of these woods, nor neither do I know these woods, so my fate seems to tide with yours. Well, lead on then, Mr. Pinry. Take us to our deaths, whatever that black lake might hold in it. Crystals.
Okay. I'm gonna have to call another vote real quick. Samuel, you're not doing us any favors right now. You're stressing out the group. I don't need you pushing their buttons any further.
I'm not stressing anyone out, Mr. Pinnery. You read and heard what I read. You saw what I saw. You think these people are crazy? You think Henry is crazy? You think Henry did not hear what he heard? Do you think the deputy who's been calm all these days reacted suddenly out of nowhere? And what about you, Mr. Henry? Shoot at anything that's out there? Shoot at anything that's wearing black? Huh?
Look here, Samuel. I'm gonna get like right up in his face. I saw what you saw and I read what you read, but I didn't drop my book and scream and turn tail and run. We have a job, and we're gonna see it through. Got that?
Oh, I got that. Oh, I very much got that. Not like I do have a choice. Now, do I?
Mis-
Well,
Mr.
you always have a choice, Samuel.
No, I do
If
not.
you want to go off in the woods alone, you can.
No, that's not a choice. That's a death sentence. And I would rather die with all of you looking at your faces as you die along with me. So lead on, Mr. Pinnery. Lead on. I would like to see where this goes. I would like to see if what lies in wait for us is what we think it's going to be. And we have ignored all the premonitions that we have received so far. So lead on, Mr. Pinnery.
Gentlemen, please, Mr. Montgomery, please. We're all in this together. Okay? There is some truth in what Mr. Pinnery says. You're being a little bit of a naysayer. We need to keep cool heads. We need to be positive. We need to think positive. And any bit of hope that there is out there, we need to cling to that. And hope that the young Miss Strong is still alive and that we do find her and that bring her out. And I have every faith that we can do that as a team, not as 3 guys and then you. So I'm not trying to single you out. I just need us. We need to work together. We need to stay focused, and we need to remain calm.
So, Deputy, go ahead and make a persuade test.
Oh, balls.
Oh.
So as as the deputy's talking to Samuel, you hear how he is calm. His voice is more mellow. It's calmer. It's more reassuring than all this was. You feel a little more at ease after the deputy tells you that everything's going to be okay.
I'm sorry about that, Deputy, but Mr. Pinnery's attitude is getting on my nerves as long as this place. You lead. I will be no trouble. I just want to get this done and then be left alone.
I think we all agree that we would like to be done and rid of these woods.
I'm never going camping again.
Mr. Pinnery, if you would, please.
Right. Well, now that that's settled, let's go.
So, you continue walking along the path, your newfound path, with the leaves crunching under your feet and the smell of, pine and different woods coming into your nostrils, sunlight barely breaking through the intertwined, woven branches of the treetops. One step after the other, you're walking along, tired, exhausted, both physically, emotionally, mentally, no strength left in you. When, after some time, you walk into a small clearing. And you see a lake in front of you.
Oh. We're here.
It's a dark watered, still lake. The occasional cicada chirping in the background. Flying insects all around you. Rustling of branches and leaves as small animals kind of run to their burrows. No breeze, no wind, no air. It's like glass with a faint reflection of a smoggy sunlight coming off the water.
The Black Lake. Do you think this is what you read about, Mr. Montgomery? If that, I'm not swimming.
Well,
Come back here.
this lake does seem black. Well, at least now, in this light. Maybe we've not walked very far from the cabin.
You gauge that you by looking, you know by how long you've walked. You couldn't have walked more than an hour or two.
I don't know what to make of this. This isn't the lake from your dreams, though, correct? Was it Mr. Stevens and Mr. Montgomery? You each had dreams of a lake, right?
Yeah, but I think it had a more a yellow tinge to it.
Right. That passage from the journal spoke of a crystal prison, something being freed or was trapped there, longs to be freed. I wonder if it's not possible that in these dreams you are seeing something being freed.
Well, the thing in the book, the picture of that blob thing was basically the same thing from my dream.
That's what you saw coming from the lake?
Yeah.
I don't know that we should be here.
Well, where else should we go?
Got a bad feeling about this.
Well, Deputy, maybe we kind of walk around the lake and see if we can catch sight of that survey team.
Yeah.
I don't know that would be too terribly bad of an idea. Mr. Pennery, do you see anything, any markings, indications of it at sites?
So, Mr. Pinnery, go ahead and make a spot hidden check. So, Mr. Pinnery he stands there and he notices the ground that you're looking on. He looks down and he looks to his right and he squints his eyes as he focuses his sight as he looks down the beach line. Contrary to what this image shows, where there's a bunch of foliage and grasses, different things, it kind of starts panning out into more of a beach line along the lake. And then he looks to the left, and to the left, further down, you see what looks like thick poles or something in the beach. Something's there. You see thick poles standing in the beach.
Oh, yeah. What do you make that out to be, my point?
Can we all see it pretty easily once he points it out?
And then after he points it out, you all kind of turn and look, and you squint your eyes to focus. Some of you raise your hands over your eyes to shield what little sunlight there is coming down. And you look further down the beach, and down a bit of ways, quite a bit of ways, you see several upright, you don't know what they are, thick poles, something taller than a fence, but you're not sure. Something is stuck in the ground, like poles, further down the beach, further down the lake.
I don't know that I've ever seen anything like that, Mr. Penry.
Maybe it's part of the survey team.
I've got a scope on my rifle. Does that help at all?
Yeah, we have binoculars too.
Yeah.
Yes, you guys do have those things. It's something that might come in handy that you can use.
Can we use? Do we need a spot hidden?
No, not at all.
Oh, okay.
So, Mr. Pinnery, you raise your rifle up and you start looking down through your rifle down further at the far end of the lake.
Oh, well, right. Do I have to make a check for that yet, or?
Sure. Go ahead and make a sanity check, please. And despite passing, you still lose 1.
Looks like we've got more. No, sorry. Looks like the body count's just been upped. And then I tell him what I see. I describe any details I can make out.
Okay, so as he's describing that, the deputy's going to go ahead and pull out the binoculars to look down the beach so he can get a more clear idea of what is actually going on. Now, curiously, I would think the scope would probably be higher power than the binoculars were.
I don't know. GM's AFK.
I see that now.
So are there more dead bodies over there?
They're on the poles, sort of like that man that we found at the cabin and the pictures in that book.
Do you happen to recall what that surveyor, does he look like that?
Well, it's hard to make out from here, but if you give me a minute, maybe I can discern whether or not that's him or not. Just any minute now.
Mm-hmm. Look long and hard. I'm gonna listen to see if I hear Doc coming back. I don't.
Too bad Google didn't exist back then. I could look up what this Glaaki was.
Too much beer make the GM go pee pee.
Oh, there you go.
He decided he needed more.
Right, so I guess we were trying to make out whether or not it's that surveyor dude, any of the bodies.
Or if they have matching, like a uniform that looks similar to what we could recall.
Go ahead and make spot hidden checks. Whoever is looking. Are you also looking through the binoculars, deputy?
I am.
Then please make a sanity check.
Aw. Ooh.
Even though you pass, you still lose 1 sanity. When you're looking through the binoculars, you see what, and the same thing for Aldous. You look through, and in the zoomed in image, you see what look to be bodies hanging from poles, but they appear to be moving. You don't see a uniform or anything that looks, anyone that looks familiar to you that you've come across previously. But you do see kind of slowly moving bodies that are on poles, and then on closer inspection through your binoculars, through your scope, they all seem to have a large spike sticking out of their chest.
You said roll a spot hidden?
Yeah, you can go ahead and roll a spot hidden. So you don't see anyone that looks familiar. You don't see uniforms. You don't see anyone you recognize. You see bodies. You see them occasionally moving, indicating that they're probably alive. You see spikes coming out of their chests. But there are several of them, if not all of them. You can't quite make all of it out. They all seem to be wearing something similar to another body you found. Various types of overalls that look, some of them have big splotches of paint on them. You can't quite make it out, but you think that it's paint. You're not sure though. You would probably have to get closer to know that for sure.
And upon seeing that, the deputy sort of just lets his hands slowly fall away from his face as his mouth slowly starts to fall open, and it looks as though the color is just running away from his face, just draining out.
Deputy.
I can't be certain. I think we may have found our painters.
Oh.
What do you see, Mr. Penry?
They're alive. Probably not for long, but this seems to be recent. We should be on our toes.
Should we
Did you
help them?
happen to catch that other detail? Anything involving spikes?
What do you mean, like?
The
what do you mean?
spikes that were protruding from them?
Yeah, I thought that was apparent. Like, that was the obvious.
Yeah, I'm just trying to be in character here, dude. I'm trying to make
Oh, my bad.
figure out if you're seeing what I'm seeing.
Yeah,
Come on, bro.
well, yeah, I did. I did see that.
And they were moving. Why would they have spikes in them? What's happening?
I'd imagine they didn't put it there themselves.
I can't imagine they would.
Some sort of sick killer is on the loose.
Deputy, you're saying there are people out there with spikes through them?
Yeah. Yeah.
That kind of matches the image we saw in the book.
Yeah, I said all of this like a minute ago.
Well, Do we go over there?
Do we want to?
I didn't see that girl on any one of those.
You think the girl has precedence over this, or?
Those people, I'm certain are gonna die, but I'm just saying. Over there.
Maybe we can get to one of them, find out who did this to them before it's too late.
Absolutely. I'm just pointing out that I didn't see her over there. That's not to say that there aren't more that we can't see.
Henry, do you know how many people are generally there in a survey team? If you think about it, everyone we have come across is either dead, dying, or wants to die, except that survey team.
That survey team.
And if there are more than 4 in that survey team, that means we are outnumbered.
We never came across the survey team, so we don't know. But I'd have to imagine that as a team, there's got to be better than 3, I would guess. I'm only going off my gut here. Well, should we try and see what we can figure out? At this point in time, is it getting fairly late in the afternoon? I don't remember what time.
It's late afternoon. It's not evening or dark yet, but it is late afternoon.
Okay. I say we make our way over there. At least we know there's something over there, and there's something that can be found. And who knows? Maybe that young girl is amongst those people.
Shall we go over?
I guess.
Come on, Mr. Montgomery, be brave.
I think the time for bravery
like Mr. Frost.
has passed, Deputy. Very soon the time for smart thinking will pass as well, and then we are in the hands of fate. Let us do what we are here to do, whatever it is that you gentlemen want to do, but let us get it done quickly. I do not want to be on that. Let me rephrase. I do not want to be staked. So, if I could avoid that, by all means. But let's not dilly-dally here.
Well, then, like I suggested, we try and sneak and move really, really quiet.
So you all agree and decide to start making your way towards what looks like bodies on spikes on poles with spikes through their chests further down the beach.
Is that the only trail leading up to the... Let me put it this way. Anyway,
that's going north.
Yep. Is there a trail or a truck path leading south from where we are right now?
I'm sorry, a truck path?
Yes, the path on which a vehicle would have come up to here if there was a survey team.
Go ahead and make spot hidden checks if you're looking for something specific.
Let me see if I can see that. Maybe not. No. Wait, do I have something called luck points?
You do have luck points.
How do I use luck?
So basically, if you want to use luck, you can't use any more than 10 points of luck in one roll.
Perfect.
You subtract the luck from your luck score, and you add it to your roll.
And that was a permanent loss to your luck?
That is a permanent loss to your luck.
Okay, so my luck is now 25, so my roll becomes 39.
49.
Wait, I rolled 49. Oh, okay, yeah.
You
Oh,
rolled a 40.
yeah.
He only needs to bring it down to a 40 then. So
You only need to bring it down to a 40 to, ties pass.
Yeah. So
So
26 then. I reduce it by 9. Yeah.
So Samuel, he's looking around to all this talk about the survey teams. He remembers the truck, and he frantically starts looking around and sees nothing, and he thinks there's got to be something here. There's got to be something here. And you look further to your right, for going south down the shoreline, and then you look behind you the direction you came. You look everywhere around you, and with some confidence, especially with your skills, recognizing vehicle tracks and all those kinds of things, with confidence, you feel comfortable that no truck has come through here.
Deputy, the survey team is nowhere close. How did these people get here if it is not the survey team?
I think Mr. Pinnery would be more suitable to answer that question.
Maybe they had the dreams too.
Well, all indications seem to point to people being dragged off here. I don't think many of these people came here of their own free will.
True.
And as Mr. Pinnery said, I don't think they drove spikes through their chests by themselves or to themselves.
So with that, you guys continue making your way slowly, with some trepidation, cautiously down towards where the bodies are. Each step gets heavier and heavier as you fear seeing what you know you're going to see up close. And with every step, you get closer and closer and closer until they start coming into better view. And you see bodies, and from a distance, you start hearing them. Help. Help. Help us. Help. You hear moaning and yelling from a distance. And you get closer and it gets louder. And you get closer and it gets louder. Until finally, you're no more than 100 yards away. And you start walking up. And you don't know what to make of it. But there they are. Bodies on spikes, on poles, with spikes through their chests. And they're screaming and they're yelling, "Help us, please! Help us, please!" And some of them catch your eyes and they look pleading for your help. They took us in the night from our camp. Walking corpses. Different people are saying different things at different times, and through the jumble, these are the things that you're picking out from their words as they try and make eye contact, as they try and struggle against the restraints holding them to their poles. They took us to the dig site where the others are being held. There's a boy and a man and a girl. One of us got away. The madmen are trying to lift something out of the pit. They're using tools and dynamite. And someone else says something terrible is in the water. It's in us. spreads like sickness. I can feel it burning away my soul. And then others are just sitting there moaning, their heads down, barely rocking back and forth as they moan or yell or scream or whimper, "Kill us, kill us. Remove the spines, please. Kill us."
Oh God.
Are they indicating that the spines are the thing that's keeping them alive?
Everyone make a sanity check, please. So
Sam.
Samuel gets a cold sweat coming down his forehead. Samuel, roll 1d6. The rest of you, even though you passed, you only have to roll a 1d4.
I'll get maximum. I told you.
Oh.
Oops. Roll matching.
And that is your sanity loss for coming across this gruesome scene. You have people crying with tears running down their face, heads hanging low, whimpering, "Kill me, kill me, help us, help us." Another man off to the side, "Help, please help."
All right. Deputy.
I don't even know what to do. There's so many bodies.
Oh God.
We have to try and maybe cut the poles down. Taking the spikes out is gonna do more damage.
I may not be a doctor, but I don't think we can make a recovery from this.
Henry will do kind of a first aid check to see if they're savable.
Go ahead. Yep.
Can I roll a psychology test to see if like the people themselves who are asking this of us are somewhat coherent, you know, like they're having coherent thoughts and that's what they really want?
Sure, go ahead. So first off, the first aid rolls. The deputy and Henry both go look at them and assess their wounds. Henry thinks, maybe if you get these spikes pulled out and you apply enough pressure, but the deputy immediately intervenes and says, "There's nothing that you can do, Henry. They can't survive this. There's no way." And Samuel, he's listening to their voices and the tremble in their voices as their voices crack and break with their tears, and they're crying and they're saying, "Help me, help me." And it sounds sincere. It sounds real to him. They want to die. They can't take the suffering anymore.
Deputy.
Yeah.
We need to.
Yes, Mr. Montgomery.
We need to
move.
Put them out of their misery, sir. We're not going to be able to save them. And I can't believe I'm telling you this, but I think if we can kill them, I think whatever it is, whatever this Glaki, whatever. I mean, I don't know about a man's soul, but I think something is happening to them. They are asking us, Deputy, they're begging us, pleading us.
And so the deputy goes over with Mr. Stevens, and he sees that he's trying to help, and he just kind of grabs his hand and stays it. Just shakes his head, and he feels this tremendous weight growing on his shoulders as he knows what might be more humane, but he knows what law states, and he knows what he should do, and he's got all these things running through his head, and then he's got Samuel, talking to him, and so he. Can I make like a further inspection of some of the bodies hanging there?
Sure, go ahead.
I mean, is there any indicated like I mean, do they look like they're zonked out? Are their eyes white, yellow? I mean, is there anything that might indicate that they're
You don't
anything?
You don't see anything abnormal, and specifically to the eyes. You look at one woman who's standing there, and she catches your eyes, and as she looks at you, not only her eyes not white, but they're deep blue, her normal blue colored eyes, and a tear starts running down the side of her face as she looks at you, directly into your eyes, says, please, just kill me.
Deputy, we aren't gonna save these people.
Maybe we can.
No, Mr. Stevens, I don't think that we can. I don't think we can do anything for him. There's... I don't know. I mean, it goes against all of my instincts, and it goes against every gut feeling that I have, and against my nature. But the most humane thing to do is, and I can't believe I'm saying this, would be to help them and ease their suffering.
And the woman that was looking at you, she says, pull the spike out. Please, just pull the spike out. She starts sobbing.
Samuel is going to rush forward and grab the spike and pull it.
And as Samuel rushes forward and pulls the spike out,
Deputy shouts and puts a hand out. He's like, no!
and it's too late. He pulls the spike out. He wraps his hand around the metallic cone and yanks it out. And as he yanks it out, she lets out a scream, a blood-curdling scream. And as she screams, she catches eyes with Samuel. And her eyes are wide. And with her mouth, she just whispers under her breath, "Thank you." After she screams, and her head falls forward, her chin to her chest, and she lies still.
Samuel, with tears running down his eyes, is now starting to runs down the line of these posts and starts pulling spikes out. And every time he does, he's like, now he's kind of
Henry just kind of watches in horror, shaking his head.
The deputy just kind of falls back on his butt and just slumps down for a second. It's almost like the breath has been taken from him as he's seeing this, and he just fall and slump down.
And Samuel's pulling spikes out, and every time he pulls spikes out, there's a scream, a yell. There's just a last fierce thrust of voice coming out of everyone who pulls the spike out. It's their last attempt at any life that they have left. And Samuel's getting sprayed with blood the entire time as he pulls each spike out. It just splatters and splatters and splatters, and he just keeps going down the line. and pulls them out and pulls them out and pulls them out until he's covered in blood, and the sky and the air around you is filled with the yelling and the screaming of all the victims as one by one their heads just kind of fall forward, chins to their chest, and then it's silent again. And you all look at Samuel, covered in blood, hands soaked red. Samuel, make a sanity check.
Oh,
All day at work, huh?
Despite passing, you only have to make a 1d4 loss to your sanity. The others of you who just watched him go down the line without any assistance from any of you and just snuffed out the lives of all these people who were suffering and being tortured. And now you're looking at Samuel panting, catching his breath, covered in blood. The rest of you make a sanity check.
Oh god.
So the ones that passed, you only have to make a 1d3 sanity loss. Henry, you have to make a 1d6 sanity loss. So you sit there looking at Samuel, who almost looked half crazed, eyes wide, face splattered with blood and hands covered. And all of the screams have stopped. But they were loud. They were loud screams. They pierced through the air, especially since, again, you haven't heard any animals. The silence makes the screams even louder than what they would normally be. Maybe even so loud someone might have heard them. Everyone make a luck check. So, maybe someone heard those screams.
the deputy's kind of, again, still sitting there on the beach here, and his eyes are sort of welled up a little bit. Smelling salts under his nose, and his head just snaps up, and he goes, "Wait. It's dead silent here. Anyone could have heard all of the screams. Anyone could have heard any of that. Everyone, keep your heads about you. Be alert. I don't have a very good feeling about what might happen next, or what we may encounter. I think we should press on."
Henry will wipe the tears from his eyes and kind of cock his gun. Let's get whoever's done this and get that girl back.
I don't know. The more we look around, the more death there is. I'm willing to say that girl's probably dead.
I need something to hold on to, damn it. Don't need this negativity. After all this effort.
Just trying to look at it from a logical stance, you know?
Mr. Pennery, so far in all of our days in these woods, has there been anything that has been anywhere near logical?
Well, it would be nice if we started, but I guess not.
I would at least like proof for myself. Whether dead or alive. I would like that proof.
So as you all try and gather your wits back about yourself and get your bearings, the ringing of screams still in your ears, like a rush of wind going through your head, the screams over and over. You'll never forget them. You look further north down the beach, and further north down the beach you can see a clearing.
Well, what do you make of that clearing? And the deputy will pull up his binoculars to see if maybe it's another spot similar to this.
So you pull out your binoculars and you look further down, and you see what looks to be a clearing leading to a trailhead type of situation. There's a short, pole, a couple of short poles with a rope between them, which to you would indicate the start or the end of a trailhead.
Did Aldous also happen to look up there?
Aldous?
Yeah, I would take a look, but do I see anything different? Yeah.
You basically see exactly what he sees. It's the short wooden poles with some intertwined rope between them, which is normally what you would see when you see the entrance or the exit of a trailhead.
Right. The only reason why I asked is wouldn't Aldous be more familiar with what that is than the deputy?
Yeah, Aldous would definitely know that that's a trailhead.
And that's the trail ahead. Do I know where it leads?
No, not exactly. I mean, you have done a lot of hunting trips out here, but being 3 days out from town isn't normally the distance you go. Maybe a day or two at the most. But being 3 days out and being on this side of the lake isn't something that you have a lot of experience with. So you don't know exactly where this trailhead leads, but you do know that it looks similar to other trailheads.
The deputy will turn to Aldous. I don't know of any trails or trailheads that might be out this far. Nothing comes to mind anyway. Is there anything that you're familiar with?
Can't say that I usually come out this far.
Well, think it's worth investigating?
I mean, we don't really have any other leads. Sort of still shooting in the dark here.
Speaking of shooting in the dark, is it still just late afternoon?
Yeah, it's definitely late afternoon, early evening.
Okay. Well, I don't know about you, but it's getting later, and I would honestly prefer to, if we have to make another camp, make camp as far away from this place as we can. And if that's a trailhead, as you have said, It leads somewhere, and it should be fairly open. I think that might be our best bet as far as making camp.
Just hopefully we don't get taken in the night and have this happen to us.
Let's not talk like that. Let's try and be positive and keep our heads, keep our wits about us. Well, Mr. Pennery, shall we press on?
Let's get going.
So you guys start lifting your feet. They're just heavy with depression and thought. Every step is just in thick morass of emotion. Your heads are hanging low, except to look up and around at the occasional sound of twigs snapping or leaves crunching as you make your way further up north, until you finally get further up north and you find the trailhead. There's a path leading up into the trailhead that you start walking along. And as you start walking along this somewhat maintained trail, you realize it's curving around in a big arc, taking you somewhat south and then back up north again. And as you do this, you're walking down the path, and all of a sudden you see what looks like a road with large truck tracks going up further to the north. And then everyone make a listen check. So Aldous and Samuel, as you come across these truck tracks and you look in the direction that they're going, both of you hear commotion and activity coming from that direction.
There's company up ahead. I don't know if they're expecting us, but there's definitely a lot of activity.
Shoot. We should be careful.
Any plan of action on how we engage? I mean, what is our goal here, gentlemen? I just maybe killed, I don't know, 10 people. I'm tired. So, either we go in guns blazing, or we wait till the night and try and sneak in.
That might be a good idea.
What? Sorry, what exactly did you hear? Or did you think that you heard?
Just people, I think. Commotion. They might have heard me killing those people, I think, but I don't know. At this point, frankly, Deputy Collins, I don't give a damn. I don't care if the girl is alive or dead. I really don't care about these people. All I need is someone to show me the way out of here. and right now it's just Mr. Pinnery. So, it looks like I said before, my fate is tied to you guys. So please decide, what is it that we're gonna do here? I really don't care about this girl anymore.
You said Aldous also heard that, correct? Did he say what he heard? Or is it just essentially more of the same?
You basically, he heard what sounds like voices, the low rumble of a truck, just sounds of some kind of activity taking place, around that corner up ahead.
And that's what they conveyed to us.
Yes.
Well, do you think it could be that survey team?
I mean, I don't really know who else is out here.
Well, everybody else that was out here, I feel like we found, with the exception of the two that we met early on, that we took their rifle and directed them back to the city. We've come across one other search party, correct?
Mm-hmm.
And no other search parties. I don't know. I mean, do we try and approach this camp or this area? Just keep our guns drawn? Or do we
From
just
the
try to casually stroll in? Hey, what's going on?
Well, from the sound of it, from the people, there was a boy and a man and a woman there.
Mm-hmm.
So
A boy
I think,
and a man
yeah,
and a girl.
yeah, I think it was those father and son that we left earlier.
Well, they had two friends as well, or at least another father and son. That
Most likely then.
Gentlemen, I leave this particular vote in your hands. I've pushed us, and I've pushed us, and I've pushed us to
I think we
continue
need to go
on.
now.
Look, if we're gonna go find the girl, I guess we might as well check it out, right? Otherwise, we're just wasting our time here.
Exactly. Exactly, Mr. Henry.
And they might have heard the screams, so they might try
I
and
mean,
kill
Sammy
her.
over there is covered in blood. It's not exactly a good look.
It's good. Maybe it's a good look on him. Carry around with us our own personal murderer, psychopathic killer. We have leverage. I'm only kidding, of course, Samuel.
Ha,
I know it's not a joking matter.
ha, ha, ha.
Okay, well, sneak up there.
So, what is it you guys want to do?
We're going to the camp. Going forward.
Okay, so you follow the tire tracks, and it comes around a bend. And as it comes around a bend, you can hear the sounds of a voice getting louder, yelling, "Right over there, over there!" It's still off in the distance a little ways, but you can clearly make out like the sounds of directions, instructions being given, the low rumble of, a heavy vehicle.
And as we start to get a little bit closer then, and The deputy goes, wait a second. Those people that were on the spikes, they said something about they're using tools and dynamite trying to lift something out of the pit, out of the water, something like that.
I think so.
That would have to be the survey team, right?
Yeah.
The survey team said they worked for Mr. Strong.
It's probably a lie. We should get that as quick as possible.
I don't know what to make of this. Is this all... I'm starting to think that maybe this kidnapping was supposed to be a diversion for something else.
You think so?
If they were trying to pull something, why would they send a bunch of people out here to investigate?
Maybe he knew what he was trying to find or trying to pull up, and maybe he knew that it needed people, sacrifices, something. I mean, these people have been murdered in the most bizarre ways. I mean, these aren't. This is like ritualistic here. What we're seeing.
Deputy, remember when we met the man in the truck and I said there was something off about him? Something mechanical. Well, the lady who spoke to us, or the people who spoke to us, they said walking corpses. Well, a corpse is almost mechanical, almost devoid of emotion. That's it. That was what it was about that man who spoke to us. There was no emotion.
You think he was just entirely devoid of emotion? Doesn't mean he was a walking corpse. Maybe it was metaphorical what she was saying. But that doesn't mean that something else isn't happening to these people. I want to say so much as maybe they're possessed, but under a trance or anything like that. But that is something along those lines. Is, from what I've seen, not out of the realm of possibility. These last few days have really opened my eyes to what is reality and the horrors that may or may not exist within it. Mr. Penry, have you ever heard of anything at all that's supposed to be odd, spooky? Anything about these woods like that?
Deputy,
When we first started this, what's up?
you are skirting one word to explain everything else about the word. You're talking about the occult. I don't think anyone had any hand in this. If anything about that shed that we came across, anything about that book, it just looks like people are trying to please some old being by doing some insane acts of cruelty.
Anyway, what were you saying, Demi?
When we started this trek out here, I told you the scariest thing out there were probably a bear at worst. You think I know anything about human sacrifices and whatever it is you guys freaked out about in that cellar?
I'm not implying that you knew of anything physical out here. I was just curious if you ever heard ghost stories about maybe this ever happened out here, maybe this happened out here. supposedly a long time ago this happened out here. That's all I'm asking.
So you guys are standing in this kind of a little bit of a pathway here, and you're discussing your options. And to the north, you still just hear the sounds of heavy vehicles and, you know, men kind of yelling back and forth to each other from what sounds like a almost like a work site.
That's got to be it. That's got to be what those people on those spikes were talking about.
Yeah. I think we need to get weapons ready just in case. I don't think they're going to be friendly, and I don't want to say Mr. Strong organized this whole thing. I can't imagine it.
Mr. Pennery, is there any way that you might be able to sneak up there and use your scope to get a closer look of what's actually happening?
I suppose I can press forward and maybe get some high ground, climb a tree or something.
If you think that would be best, to climb a tree. I'm just curious if there's any way we can get any kind of lookout, see what exactly is happening in this camp, what they're doing. They're, I don't know. This whole thing is just so bizarre.
So, Mr. Pennery, if you want to go ahead and do that, you can make a
Climb?
a stealth check and a climb check. If you want to go unnoticed doing this. So, Mr. Pennery, as soon as you say that, Deputy, you know, maybe you can get a better look at what's going on here. Mr. Pennery just kind of gives a knowing nod to you as he stealthily makes his way through the trees. He weaves in and out, you know, as a man would who's experienced in these woods. Obviously, he has been living in these woods, hunting in these woods, working in these woods his whole life, and he steps through them with great ease. Not only does he step through them with great ease, but once he finds a tree sturdy enough and who sticks up above the other trees well enough, after looking up, you know, into the branches and into the tree line, he puts a foot onto it and reaches up and grabs a branch and pulls himself up with the easiest and most, you know, fluid motions. You know, it's almost like watching a teenager in gym class as he scrambles up this tree. Silently and efficiently, he is at the top of a tree overlooking the site. And since I don't know how to make it to where only one... Oh, wait, actually, I'll do this.
Always in the trees.
Mr. Pennery, you with one leg wrapped around a tree, you pull your scope up, and you see this.
Any identifying marks? Any info worth reporting back? Or just, hey, there's a camp ahead?
Hey, there's a camp ahead with 5 cabins, and go ahead and make a spot hidden check. So you're looking through your scope, and you see the driver, or what looks like the driver of that truck that you saw the day before.
Do the people around the camp seem to be up and about, or really active in work, or are they just anyone's on like a lunch break or dinner break or whatever?
Everyone looks active and busy.
Okay, I'll attempt to climb back down and report my findings.
Okay. So you successfully climb back down, and you can let the rest of the group know what you saw.
The man from the other day in the truck is there. There are others, and they're working. There's like 5 cabins or huts, and then the most important part is there's this huge hole. They seem to be excavating something. It's rather large. I can only imagine what's down there.
We should sneak in,
What's the time now?
maybe. The time of day?
Yeah, that's the time of day. Yeah.
It is early evening.
Around what time the previous night did we see those explosions? Not the explosions. We saw that blue smoke or the explosions. Heard the explosions and that blue smoke.
You saw that during the night, so you saw that last night, essentially. I believe that was last night.
Okay.
That you saw the clouds lighting up with explosions.
May I suggest
we
get close enough and then wait out the night?
I actually forgot to mention something rather important, I believe. The hole seems to be connected by a line and some poles that runs directly into the lake.
Poles running into the lake.
Lines and poles that run into the lake.
Yes, so they can
Like an electricity
Pull
line?
something out.
Does it look like an electricity line? Like a power line?
to be honest, I couldn't get a good look. All I know is that it's leading directly from the lake into the hole. And it's attached to some sort of structure above the hole where you can see a rope going down into it.
I just keep thinking back. And they said they were trying to pull something out of a pit. But this isn't a pit. Are they trying to pull something out of the water?
Or they may be trying to connect what's in the pit to what's in the water. Because that's what they said, that something in the water needs to get out, release it from its prison. Deputy, what if we use that as a distraction? Break whatever system they have connecting the pit to the lake, forcing them to send someone or people to fix it. That gives you enough time to get the girl out if you can find her.
How do you propose we go over there, or get over there?
Well, Mr. Pinnery saw those poles and the wires. He knows the general direction. You know where the camp is.
I guess that's as good a plan as any.
Mr. Pinnery, do
we
remember seeing how many people were in the camp?
Let's see, there was a driver and maybe 5 others, I think.
Yeah. I think if we...
5 other were they just others with that crew?
Yes.
Or just total?
Working.
Deputy, maybe some of us go and destroy that line. Some of us go and try and save the girl. If you see an opportunity to blow that pit that they're digging up with dynamite, then take it. I really don't think what they're trying to do is good for
I
mankind.
don't think so either.
Yep.
Not necessarily even for mankind, but definitely not for our town. Not for these woods. Not for these people, obviously, since they all are pinned to trees, stakes, poles, wherever. That's saying, though, that these people here are to blame. Mr. Penry, how do you propose we proceed? Do you think this is a good idea? Should we try and scope it out a little more to see if the girl is indeed here? I mean, regardless, we need to try and probably ruin this operation in some way. I can't imagine that.
I don't... Look, right, we came out here for a girl. I think we're messing with things that are beyond our scope. I think we need more than just the 4 of us. We're not exactly in the best of shape.
Are you saying we leave?
I'm saying maybe we're trying to get in a bit over our heads.
Okay. Well, do you think we try and scope this camp out? See if the girl is there. If she's there, do we try and go back and get more help?
Let's say, well, we know where the camp is at now, right? And they say they
Right.
work for Mr. Strong.
Correct.
We verify that with him, and if it doesn't hold up, we send a nice little posse out here. Take care of things.
That might be the best plan. Because engaging with all of these people, I don't know.
We're outnumbered. They obviously have some serious firepower. We don't know what the hell's going on. All these people are being stabbed through their chests. I'm honestly running out of ammunition. I've taken quite a few shots.
Mm-hmm. Alright, let's try and see if we can verify that the girl is in the camp. I just wanna try and check to see if she's in the camp. And then, judging by the time of day, unfortunately, I think we should probably try and set up camp at or at least try and hide in the bushes or weeds, perhaps someplace somewhat close to this camp, because if they're working all through the night and there are only 5 of them, that seems odd to me. If there's no rotation or no secondary crew that comes in.
There are houses, there's housing. There's probably more in there. Besides, if they kept the girl alive this long, I don't see any reason for them to kill her now.
Deputy, there's something else you might want to consider. Whatever it is that they're trying to do, we are most probably close to the source now.
Mm-hmm.
When we were almost a day's journey away, the 3 of us had horrific dreams. What do you think is going to happen to us tonight when we try and sleep this close? There might be merit. There is merit in what Mr. Pinnery is saying, and I can't believe myself that I'm agreeing with him. Even if we leave
Okay.
now, we need to keep walking. Most probably not sleep the night. Lest. I don't know.
Mr. Stevens,
Mhm.
are you in agreement?
I am.
Okay.
So, what is it that you want to do?
Head back.
I think we're heading back to the town to try and get more people. Or to at least verify with Mr. Strong that he's got a survey team out here and that they're doing whatever work on this lake. Just try and fact
Okay.
check.
Wait, what did you say? Fact check?
Yeah, to say the least.
I mean, either fact check and plus get more people out here because we should have enough evidence to see. I mean, we have seen 2 people plus another maybe 10 on the beach right here. That's 12 people killed.
Yeah.
So I think it's less of a girl disappearing than more about mass murder at this point.
But yeah, there's a one guy pinned to a tree, one guy's dead in a cabin. One guy's just dead out in the middle of the woods. A whole bevy of people are out on a beach.
Yep. This has become less of a kidnapping and more of mass murder. So
Right.
even if the facts don't check out, we need to come back with a force and try and stop them.
So you all agree and decide together that this is beyond your control, and that you need to turn around and head back into town so that you can get more help. This is way beyond you. There are dead bodies everywhere throughout this forest. You weren't expecting this. You weren't planning on this. You weren't prepared for this. And every dead body that you come across is just a chip at your sanity, another chip at your sanity. And one by one after the other, every noise, every unexpected event has caused you to question your own sanity, and you decide to turn around.
Yes.
You turn around and you start heading back into town. And as you head back into town, time goes by. And as time goes by, the survey team continues to work. And they continue to work, sweating and pulling this stone out of the ground. Pulling this stone, this meteor that they have been commanded to pull out of the ground, to yank out of the ground, like pulling the stillbirth baby out of its mother. They yank it out slowly, and eventually, since there is no one there to stop them, they get it hooked to the pulley, and they get it hooked to the pulley, and they start pulling it down towards the lake, further and further towards the lake. As you make your way back to safety, to the comfort of the town, the survey team is hard at work getting this meteorite pulled into the lake, until finally the meteorite is back in the lake. And Glakai has received what he has always wanted. part of the meteorite that keeps him trapped, stuck in this water, this insipid water. Keeps him trapped here and unable to move. He was finally able, with the help of a Civil War group that tried to flee to Canada but were trapped by his dreams. And then finally, a survey team that came deep into the woods close to the lake. And they were able to be entrapped by his dreams. He was able to get the meteorite that would free him to expand on his powers. So now that his dream call reaches even further, and he can call more people. People from the town that you're headed to right now. People from the town, women, children, husbands, fathers, having dreams in the middle of the night as you make your trip back 3 days. It took you 3 days to get out this far. It's taking you 3 days to get back. With the power that he has received from this stone that was pulled from the ground, his dreams are more powerful now. And as you finally get back into town, you see the town is filled with people shambling and heading into the woods. You try and stop them, but they're not listening. And slowly, one by one, the citizens of this small little hamlet out in the middle of nowhere start blindly, unconsciously heading into the woods, saying that their dreams told them they need to go this way. It won't be long before this town is dead because you couldn't finish your job. And the scene goes black. And that's it.
Yay!
We got it out! Success!
Let me
High
stop.
five.
You guys lost.
Yeah, it's the best.